talking about different aspects of bioinformatics. Like earlier, we have walked through the science of bioinformatics and different databases we have. We talked about NCBI, BLAST, and then we also talked about multiple sequence alignment. In the last talk, we were discussing the sequence alignment methods and algorithms, and my apologies, it has been a gap in between. So today we'll be talking about multiple sequence alignment, and it makes sense to first have a quick recap what we talked about in the last lecture, because the present lecture will use lots of concept from that talk. So a quick recall from the previous lecture is the sequence alignment is the identification of the relation between the sequences residue by residue comparison. We do it by residue comparison, and an alignment is done on the basis of matches, mismatches, and gaps. A distance function for two sequences is defined by looking for the alignment that yields the maximum score. We have indel and edit functions which are used for making an alignment. We used dot plots in the last lecture. We talked about the global Needleman-Wunsch algorithm. We also talked about Smith and Waterman algorithm. We talked about different scoring matrices like PAM, BLOSSOM, and we will be using those for multiple sequence alignment in today's lecture. And we also talked about approximation methods and how the approximation methods have allowed us for the quick search in the alignments. And then we also talked that how alignments are very useful in similarity searches, and they also help us in the phylogeny analysis. So today we are talking about multiple sequence alignment, and the learning objective for today's lecture are: what is multiple sequence alignment and why should we do multiple sequence alignment? We would also learn the two very common, very popularly used software for multiple sequence alignment, that is Clustal W or Clustal Omega. These are the two most commonly used, and we would try to explain by the three stages in alignment which these softwares use by taking the example of two type of sequences. Then the other thing which we want to learn from today's talk is that we would like to compare several alternative programs for multiple sequence alignment like Muscle, ProbCons, tCoffee, and maybe MAFT, and two more. I think I have used 5 softwares here, and we would know how to decide which is the best method for your requirement, your specific requirement. So we start with multiple sequence alignment. The multiple sequence alignment is when we are trying to align more than two sequences, meaning we have 3 or many sequences, and it becomes quite a complex process, meaning we would use all the concepts of sequence alignment, but they are, meaning here we are using many sequences. So we would be learning this through five different sequences which we have. I have just copied them for you, and these two belong to two categories. One is the closely related species and the other one is distantly related species. So walking through multiple sequence alignment is a collection of 3 or more sequences, protein sequences or nucleic acid sequences that we intend to align, maybe partially or completely. and this multiple sequence alignment indicates about the homology of these sequences, meaning the sequences which are aligned in a column, like you see a highlighted yellow column here. That means these sequences, that region is homologous, and the residues are homologous in evolutionary sense, meaning they are thought to be having common origin, and this is going to help us in phylogenetic analysis. So why we do multiple sequence alignment is when we want to study the structure of a protein, and maybe we want to relate this in the protein families. We try to identify the shared regions in these homologous proteins which makes up this family. We try to determine the consensus sequence of several aligned sequences. We want to know the homologous region, the orthologous genes and the paralogous genes. We might like to know the preliminary, we might be performing basically our aim may be to perform a phylogenetic analysis, and then it becomes the preliminary step, meaning for constructing a phylogenetic tree we must perform a multiple sequence alignment before. So with any one of these aims we may be doing multiple sequence alignment, and we do that, and like going into the details of multiple sequence alignment, we will do alignments for 5 globins proteins, and we will use 5 prominent programs which are very common nowadays, is Clustal W, which now is called as Clustal Omega. We might use proline, muscle, probcons and MAFT, and we would use these 5 T coffee, we would use these 5 programs, and each program has their different strength and weaknesses. So, but before we take all of them in details, we will first consider and understand the Clustal W. That was the first and the most commonly used program. So I said we'll be doing this with beta globin protein, and I just want to tell you that why did we choose beta globin protein. So beta globin is a subunit of hemoglobin and is a small protein which is 146 amino acid in length, and it transports oxygen throughout the body. And what happens is this protein has a ring in between which has a heme group, and it is important for taking up the oxygen and carrying the oxygen. And if you see that it has a typical amino acid sequence, and in this amino acid sequence the H, I have highlighted that with red color, the H amino acids, histidine, they are quite important, meaning in a way that they refer to the conserved sequences, and we are interested in this conserved histidine across different orthologs which has a role in oxygen binding, meaning we will take up different sequences from different species of this protein beta globin, and we will try to track this conserved histidine in this globin protein. So again the sequence, and I have highlighted the H in here, that this is the histidine which we are talking about. So let's start with Clustal, and we are doing it with 2 aims. One is that we want to understand, first of all we'll look into a bit about the theory how Clustal is performing this alignment, and then we would try to see what is the difference it makes when we use closely related species and when we use distantly related species. So we will be using we'll use Clustal, and we'll be doing it for, I said, 2 types of proteins, and what we have to do is 2 type of sequences. We have to obtain the sequences from the databases, and we have to convert them to FASTA format, and after that we store them on a text box for running the BLAST. So for running the Clustal. And here little bit information about Clustal is Clustal was described by the scientist Des Higgins. This is his picture, and the best thing about Clustal is it is, meaning it performed the multiple sequence alignment, and it came out quite in the beginning. And you know, the popularity of this can be judged by the journal Nature, which said that Clustall is the paper where this Des Higgins wrote about Clustall is the most highly cited, meaning of the 10 top highly cited papers, this fall in that. This is one of the top highly cited papers, and this program was written in C++. And after that, a lot of variants of Clustall have come, like the original Clustall described by Des Higgins. Then we have Clustall V, which took into consideration the phylogenetic tree reconstruction. We have variants. Then we had Clustall W, that uses progressive alignment. We had Clustall X, that can be downloaded on your desktop. And then we have Clustall Omega, which also uses progressive alignment, and that is the version which we use nowadays. So Clustall W, I already told you, it uses progressive alignment methods, and it takes up the sequences with best alignment scores, and it aligns them first, and then it progressively reaches to the more distant groups, and then try to align these sequences. So first it aligns the sequences which have best alignment. So it's a heuristic approach, and is necessary due to time and memory demand to find the global optimal alignment. For running any multiple sequence alignment, this becomes, you know, the accuracy and the computer time, memory required is a very important character for deciding that whether this software is to be used or which software is to be used. So it is based on progressive sequence alignment. I said first it will perform the pairwise alignment, then it will do the neighbor joining. After this, it will give you the guide tree, and on the basis of guide tree we get the alignment done. That's the web view which used to exist, but now it has been replaced with this Clustall Omega, and you can get this at EBI website at this link. So here, you know, we have lots of options which we could use, but I will just quickly tell you first what happens in Clustall Omega. So Clustall Omega is having 5 steps instead of this, and it uses k tuple method. So instead of, you know, each character, it uses word method, and it decides based on word and makes the guide trees. And in this guide trees we have different algorithm based on HMM, and it uses that one for building the final tree. But Clustall Omega has become superior over Clustall W. Why? Because the computer time required by it is much shorter than Clustall W, and it gives you a high quality alignment. And because of this high quality alignment, and it does it very quickly, it is gradually becoming very popular. Like for example, Clustall Omega is capable of aligning 190,000 sequences on a single processor in few hours. You know, processing time is quite important. We'll talk about that in the next section, where I'll show you the running of my 230 sequences at one go for multiple sequence alignment, and how the time gave us a lot of problems. So we'll be running 2 multiple sequence alignment. I said first type is what? We have 5 distantly related species, and if you see, the best score in them is 43% similarity, meaning all are less than, so they are distantly related, but all of them are talking about beta globulin protein. Then we'll have 5 closely related species, where you see they have good similarity, and the 69% is the least, meaning everyone else is more than 69% similar to each other. So when we try to run a Clustall Omega multiple sequence alignment with this, so this diagram here, you know, it's running distantly related genes, and what is it doing is, it is, you know, showing you the steps. First is that it will run a pairwise alignment for all the sequences. like we have 5 sequences here. So for 5 sequences it will run it will have 10 options that we have shown in the table. But if there are 200 sequences, you can know it will be 19,900 combinations, and that is going to use a lot of computer time. That is why we have to take care of this. And then the next stage is that we create a guide tree from distance matrix. So a guide tree is created that determines the distance in this matrix. So the closer the sequences are, the smaller is the distance between them. Then you can see that the shortest distance connecting the closest relatives is the shortest, that is 0.29104. So the distance is determined based on this distance matrix, and this is in the distant related genes. So when we run the same thing in the closely related genes, globins, what happened? The same way it built a guide. It first made a distance matrix, and then it made the identity matrix, and then it made a phylogenetic tree, guide tree. And you see the difference here is in the range of 0.0 to 0.04932. Why the distances are quite smaller here? Because the genes are quite related to each other. Like in the phylogeny which it is drawing, when we want to show the two genes as two, we have to have some distance and some difference in them, right? So this is the alignment which we got after aligning with W, cluster W, and I show you a block here. And the block, we were tracing this H, conserved H, and if you see that when the sequences are closely related to each other, we cannot highlight the conserved H across orthologs because there are many more other bases which are similar because the sequences are closely related. But if we talk of the same thing in distantly related beta globin orthologs, what happens is we could clearly identify the conserved H in which we were interested. So that's a point, when we are making a multiple sequence alignment, we should not use very closely related species because we get very less variation in them. We have to have a variation to know the differences among the sequences. So a quick take home for progressive alignment is that the MSA, make a MSA based on the order in the guide tree, and we start with two most closely related sequences and then add the next closed sequence and continue until all sequences are added to MSA. And then the rule here is once a gap is always a gap. So making the alignment for the first two, once a gap is inserted, it is always a gap and will always be present. So there are many possible ways to make a MSA. Where gaps are added is a critical question. Gaps are often added to first two closest sequences, and to change the initial gap, choices later on would be to give more weight to distantly related sequences. To maintain the initial gap choices is to trust that those gaps are are the most needed one. So additional features with which cluster W improves its ability to generate multiple sequence alignment is that the individual weights are assigned to the sequences, and then the scoring matrices are varied depending upon the presence of conserved or divergent sequences. Like we might use PAM20, and I already explained you in the previous lecture that how these different types of matrices are different. And we also have residue specific gap penalties in cluster W. So that is a paper by Thompson et al. It describes very nicely about the progressive sequence alignment in cluster W, that what are the steps involved in progressive sequence alignment. So what it does, it first does the pairwise alignment and calculate the distance matrix. It makes a unrooted neighbor joining tree, then it makes the then it makes a rooted joining tree, guide tree, and then it joins it, and then it finally leads to the multiple sequence alignment. So this paper very nicely describes the multiple sequence alignment and all the steps involved in multiple sequence alignment. So let's summarize what we learnt in this talk. First is that MSA is collection of 3 or more proteins for nucleic acid sequences that are partially or completely aligned. The MSA is important for characterizing protein family prediction of the secondary and tertiary structures and for constructing phylogenetic trees. Multiple sequence alignment is have several software, and the popular ones Clustal W and Clustal Omega we discussed just now. They are based on progressive sequence alignment, and we studied that into 2 closely related species and 2 distantly related species. Sequences from 2 different species. So progressive alignments are made by starting with 2 most closely related sequences and then add the next closest sequence, and then continue until all the sequences are added to MSA. We have Clustal Omega. We talked about Clustal Omega, and we now could know that why Clustal Omega outperforms in MSAs and holds the competition in terms of completion time and overall alignment quality. So with this we come to an end of this section, and in the next section we would talk about several other softwares which are used in multiple sequence alignment, and we'll be considering the advantages and disadvantages with different softwares. We will look into the criteria with which we'll know how to choose the best software and best method for your sequences. Thank you.